Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you read the title right. I am now the proud owner of the #1 M4A1-S Solitude. And this thing cannot be traded up to, so I decided when one of you guys, a viewer, contacted me saying that he grinded out enough stars to just redeem one single M4A1-S, and this is the one he got. I couldn't resist the opportunity to purchase it. Now, is this a wise decision to purchase the Solitude so early on in its life cycle when there's quite a high risk of it being beaten? And what other #1s have I been secretly purchasing and not telling you guys about? Let's dive right into all of that. So this guy was actually redeemed about 8 days ago. And wow. My goodness, that is close. I didn't even realize how close that was. And somebody 1 day ago got this one, the #2 that so nearly beat mine. I paid $800 for the #1. I came up with that price. I thought it was like a pretty generous price, and I like to be generous sometimes when I'm buying skins, especially when the seller told me that he could really use the money for a trip in October because his girl has 2 kids from a previous marriage and they both have autism, and in October they're taking the youngest to Hawaii for the first time. Hopefully he didn't make up that story, but that's part of the reason my offer was so generous. I'm sure some of you will be saying that's way too much money, and some of you will probably be saying in the long term that's not enough money if this stays #1. You can't please everyone all the time, and luckily I am blessed to be in a financial position where I can pay $800 for this and still feel good about it at the end of the day. Now that I'm looking at when all of these ridiculously low floats were redeemed, I am starting to question my purchase a little bit, but fingers crossed this one stays #1. I've had some requests to cover the Solitude patterns, so since I have the #1 and I am now invested in Solitudes, let's briefly cover it. We have number 98. This is apparently a full green mountain pattern, but in reality it's not really that special, and there are loads of patterns that beat it and in my opinion look a lot cooler. This guide is absolutely ridiculously long, but here are some of the main Solitude patterns. You got the golden mountains and red sun. You got the golden mountains without the red sun. You got the dark blue mountains and orange sun. You got blue mountains yellow sun, blue mountains orange sun, green mountains orange sun, green and blue mountains orange sun, white clouds. I redeemed quite a few of these guys in my hunting a Solitude video not too long ago, and I think you're probably starting to get the idea here. I'd have to say these are some of my favorites, the golden mountains, but if you have the sun on a good visible place, that tends to get a little bit more overpay, and in reality it's probably quite hard to get a ridiculous overpay pattern because if we just scroll down on these, there are just so many pattern templates. Only 1 or 2 are really gonna truly stand out. Here are some recent sales of the Solitude. The factory new pattern 304, $1,500. The 669 in factory new, $900. A min wear pattern 12 sold for $500. And if you redeem an M4 that looks something like this, pretty golden, you might have a rare special one. So as you can see, my Solitude that I've invested in isn't necessarily super rare and special pattern wise. However, it's all about this flow. I do think it is probably gonna get beaten and quite soon, but hey, it is what it is, and that's the risk I took buying a #1 float. And it's beaten. Which other #1s have I bought recently, and for what crazy prices did I pay? This guy, the #1 Orc Green Energy. 4 zeros and a 3-1. Why did I buy it? Well, because this is kind of a new collection. I like to invest in the new collections when they're new, because as we've seen with the CS market over time in general, the trend prices tend to go up as they become more exclusive and more rare. It was a bit of a dream of mine to have all of the #1s from the new collection, the Beryl, the Ascent and the Radiant. I managed to craft the #1 AK-47 Nouveau Rouge, so I'm holding on to that one, and I thought his friend might as well be added to the collection too. I believe I paid around $1,000 for this, so hopefully a good investment. The closest float to it at the moment is 3 zeros, so this one is looking relatively safe. And now that I look at the database, I realize that my Nouveau Roche has actually been beaten. So everything I just said about having the number one from all the new collections, ignore that. Bad times. If anyone wants to buy the number 2 Nouveau Roche, hit me up. I was thinking about acquiring the Stratosphere, and I think this would be a relatively safe investment considering how many zeros it has. However, the price tag, I'm not too fond of. If this was maybe 1,000, 1,500, possibly be interested, but not for this price. It's really gutting. It's really gutting that that's number 2. What else have I been seeing? Oh, this one got beat as well. My number 1 hydroponic that I was so proud of. Cost me so much money to make and so much time. And yeah, that one's number 2 as well. Aha! The M4A1-S Fade. This one, 4 zeros and a 1. Nobody knows that I own this one, thankfully yet, or until this video comes out. But it's been the number 1 for 10 months or so now. So fingers crossed it stays number 1. Can't remember how much I paid for this. I searched for it on Float, but I think I might have purchased it privately. It was almost certainly in the thousands, and I'm sure I overpaid for it, but hopefully it stays number 1. I also have a whole bunch of number 1s that I obviously created myself and didn't purchase, so maybe they're not worth mentioning. And last but not least, I also bought this gun right here, the number 1 AK-47 Be the Monster. Luckily, this is still number 1 and nobody even seems to be getting close. However, there is a little bit of a bittersweet story behind this one. I love the fact that I own it, but the guy that sold it to me kind of screwed me over. I'm not going to name any names because I don't like directing negativity and hate towards people. I know I have quite a powerful community, and sometimes I can do quite a lot of damage by mentioning things like this, so please nobody go send him hate. However, this was somebody that I trusted. We've been friends for quite a few years. He'd even helped me with previous number 1 Dragon Lore attempts years and years ago, and he told me he had acquired this, and he basically lied about the price of it and how much he bought it for. Well, technically he didn't lie, he just used like really weird wording on purpose just to throw me off, and he basically made me think that he'd paid around 8,000 USD for it. So I offered him the same price because he said he wanted a fast sale, and it was only later, after I'd accepted the trade, that somebody else informed me he'd only paid, I think, 1,000 for it. So he ended up making 7,000 profit off me and essentially cashing in our friendship and kind of taking advantage of me, and it just was not a very nice thing to do. He made a lot of money from me in the process. So this is an amazing skin, and I'm super proud to be the owner of it. I think it looks incredible. However, the story behind it gives me a little bit of sadness. One other skin that I've definitely been interested in acquiring, well, I see that Anomaly has already acquired the number 1 souvenir Orb Long Dog. He's got it up for sale for $4,000. But in my opinion, this skin is being a little bit slept on. The community, they don't love it that much. And for collectors like myself, that's actually a good thing because it increases the rarity. Also, the number 1 float right now is basically 3 zeros and a 4, which is quite easy to beat. That's the reason I'm not interested at all in purchasing this one. However, I am interested in beating it. So, as a little surprise for the end of this video, let's do something fun. Let's have an attempt at the number 1 Orb Long Dog. But it's not only the number 1 Orb Long Dog we're going to have a shot at. I have devised a contract that includes 2 of the Train 2025, giving us a 20% of the Long Dog, but also a different skin I've been hunting recently, the number 1 AK-47 X-Ray. I made this one a while ago. I regret selling it. I'd love to have it once again in my possession. Then we got a very low float Lightning Strike. I'm pretty sure this would not be the number 1. I already made the number 1 Orb Lightning Strike, and I sold it to Oni. So even if we hit that, it's not going to be beating his. But we also have a choice at arguably the best and most valuable skin that we could get from this contract, the number 1 Orb Desert Hydra. I could literally make this into a video just by itself, but I wanted to do something fun for the end of this one, so I hope you guys enjoy it. Some crazy low floats going in here, and some very expensive skins that I've been saving for a long time. Final item going into the contract. Here it is, 20% at the new number 1 Orb Long Dog, 10% new number 1 Desert Hydra, 10% new number 1 AK-47 X-Ray, 10% Orb Lightning Strike, 50% our arch nemesis, the skin I will not utter the name of right now. Are there any other number 1s you think are a wise investment? Let me know down below in the comments. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we can make a new sick one today. Join with me in the countdown, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get this. 3, 2, 1. We have some incredible options. I would love to see a new world number 1. Let's get it! Please don't be a blood in the water. Please. Oh, bro. Oh, it's so bad. 50%. 50%. That's a hell of a lot of money burned. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed the video. If you did, slap that like button. As always, it's highly appreciated. What do you think of my investments? Let me know. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take it easy. Peace.